Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're doing well. We are doing yin yang style practice today. So please, if you have some props available at home, please gather your props. In case you don't have those, a couple of pillows or maybe a couple of blankets as well will do. We're gonna start with a little bit of movement, our yang part of the practice. And then at the middle of the practice, a little bit towards the end, we're going to switch into some yin or kind of a more restorative posture at the end. All right, so a couple of blankets, a couple of pillows, whatever you can find at home. And as you get ready, we're going to start in a reclined position, having a blanket or something soft we can rest our head on. Maybe not a pillow that's too cushiony, but maybe a blanket that is nice and soft, just to support the head. And as we start in our reclined position, press the back of the head on the blanket or on the pillow. And we're gonna just resting the back of the head in here as allowing the chin to tuck towards the chest slightly here. Extending your arms beside you and bringing the soles of the feet together with your knees towards your side in Supta Baddha Konasana. Taking a couple of breaths to arrive on your practice, to arrive on your mat, on your sacred space. Focusing your breath. Allowing your hands to come one on top of your belly and the other hand on top of your chest, of your heart space. Maybe closing your eyes if you're comfortable here. And letting your knees fall towards the side. Noticing which muscles are trying to engage and sending a little bit of breath to allow them to soften. Take a deep breath in here. Full breath out to side out. One more, just like that. Just inhale. Full exhale out. Take a moment in this posture to welcome your breath, to welcome yourself to your practice, to connect with your breath, and of course, to start setting any intention or any dedication to your practice. Sahana bhavatu, sahana punatu, sahaviryam karvavahai, etasvinavati tamastu mahim vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And then just start finding your breath. Start to press your feet together, allowing your knees to come back to center. Maybe releasing your hands towards your thoughts. Taking a full breath in as you roll your shoulders back and you bring your arms overhead. Take a nice deep inhale here. Maybe you stretch your legs towards the front of the room. Take one more inhale here. On the exhale, release all the air from the lungs. Removing your pillow or your blanket from underneath your head, letting your the back of the head to rest on the ground. Take another deep inhale. Full breath out to let it go. Bringing the knees into the chest, giving them a little squeeze. Extending the arms towards your side, planting the feet on the ground, letting your knees fall towards the left hand side. Keep it simple in here. Maybe bring your knees together or slightly apart. Take a nice deep breath in here as you fill your lungs. And a full breath out to let it go. With your next inhale, we come back to center, and on the exhale, we drop the knees towards the other side, keeping the chest wide open. Take one more breath. And exhale it out. Last one, inhale. On the exhale, we come back to center, bringing the knees back to the chest. Even forming a big circle towards the right hand side with your knees, even a gentle massage to your lower back. Going towards the other side, taking your time. As you extend your legs towards the sky, pointing your feet, pressing your hands on the ground, start bracing your chest. Bringing your nose towards your knees. Take a nice deep inhale here. On the exhale, push with your legs towards your seated position, towards your Dandasana position, towards your stack pose. Your hands resting beside you, rolling your shoulders back. Take a deep inhale here. On the exhale, we fold forward, walking the hands towards your feet. Deepening your breath in here, extending your spine. On the exhale, maybe you allow your chest to come a little bit closer towards your thigh. Take another in. Full breath out. Inhale to come back to center. Cross those legs, plant the hands to step back into your tabletop. A couple of cat-cows as we begin, dropping the belly to open the chest. On the exhale, we round the spine, pushing the ground away from us. Deep inhale to open the chest. Exhale to round the spine, tucking the tailbone. Deep inhale, opening the chest. Find that tilt on your tailbone. On the exhale, we round the spine. Inhale to come back to center. Walk your hands forward, Anahatasana, pressing your hands on the ground, bringing your forehead towards the ground as well. Take a nice deep breath in. Full breath out to let it go. One more, just like that. Deep inhale. And the long breath out. Pressing your hands on the ground, activating your armpits as you keep your forearms away from the ground. Take one more in. Full exhale. Press your hands on your mat. Start coming back to your tabletop, raising your right leg behind you, extending your legs. Toes at 6 o'clock, hands pressing on the ground, lifting through the chest. Take one more inhale here. On the exhale, squeeze the knee towards the nose. Deep inhale to extend. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, draw the knee towards the nose as you round the spine. Deep inhale to reach back. On the exhale, knee to squeeze. Inhale to reach back. Maybe you stay in this one. Maybe you bend your knee, pointing your toes towards the ceiling. Keep on pressing those hands on the ground. The hips are evenly square. Take one more breath in here. Maybe you bring the other hand, opposite hand, that's your left hand, towards the front of the room. Maybe you stay in this one, or maybe you rotate the arm to catch the inside of your floating foot. Take one more inhale here as you open the chest, arch your back a little bit in this one. On the exhale, release the hands to the ground, squeezing the knee towards the chest again. Plant your foot in between your hands for low lunge, Anjaneyasana position. Your fingertips stay on the floor. Take a moment in this one. And a full breath out as you drop your hips a little bit lower. We're going to do an experiment here. Let's keep the hands for this couple of series of postures on our hips. All right. We're going to come into Anjaneyasana, staying here, drawing the pelvis down. Take a nice deep breath in as you roll the shoulders back, opening the chest. Start to extend your front leg. We're going to come into Ardha Hanumanasana, or half split posture, without trying to hyperextend in this one. Normally, what we do in Ardha Hanumanasana is we bring the hands to the ground and we extend the spine in here. And maybe we kind of, I don't want to say collapse, but we keep the stretch really, really pressing on the knee. So what we're doing in here in this one is keeping the hands on the hip as we micro bend the knee. We plant the heel on the ground, bringing the toes off the ground. As we start to activate the back of the leg, the hamstrings are going to wake up. Take a nice deep inhale here, extending your spine. On the exhale, maybe you bring your torso towards the extended leg, semi-extended leg, because you're still micro bending that knee. Take one more breath. Full exhale. Inhale to come back to center, rebend that knee. Tuck your back toes and press your front foot and your back toes on the ground and start lifting the back leg off the ground. So we don't want to go all the way up. We just want to straighten that leg, but keeping the hips where they were. So if you come back to center, bringing your knee to the ground, just focus here how low your hips are in here. If you tuck your toes and you start extending your leg, your hips won't move as much. Take another deep inhale here. On the exhale, back heel comes to the ground into warrior two legs. Our shoulders are still rotating back. The hands are still on our hips. Even the thumbs can press a little bit on the lower back. Take a nice deep inhale here. Full breath out. Inhale to start coming back to center, back to our high runner's lunge. Take a nice deep inhale here. Try to step the back foot a little bit closer to the other one so we can rest the heel on the ground and extend the front leg. Nice deep breath in to open the chest. On the exhale, fold forward, Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. Bringing the nose towards the extended leg. And again, we have that same thing on the front of the leg, activating the hamstring instead of stretching it too much. We're trying to engage as much as we can, so we work a little bit with the strength of the hamstring. Take another in, full exhale. Inhale to start coming back to center. The back heel comes off the ground. Again, we'll lean forward to step to the top of the mat, keeping the left leg bent and floating into a 90-degree angle. Take a nice deep breath in here. Full breath out. Try to square your hips in this one. Bringing your right hand to catch your knee, rotating your chest towards the left-hand side. Maybe you stay, or maybe you bring your hand towards the back of the room. Take another breath. Full breath out. Last inhale. On the exhale, we come back to center. Keep your balance in here. Bring your hands back to your hips. Start bringing the back leg towards the back of the mat where it was for a high runner's lunge. On the exhale, we lower the knee to the ground. Inhale to extend the spine in here. On the exhale, plant those hands on the ground, step back to your tabletop. And we find a couple of rounds in cat-cow. Inhale to drop the belly as we open. On the exhale, we round the spine, pushing the ground away. Deep inhale to open the chest. On the exhale, we round. One more inhale, open up. On the exhale, round the spine. Coming back to neutral position, and let's go to the second side. So this time, the left leg extends, toes at 6 o'clock. Again, the hands pressing on the ground. Take a nice deep inhale, extending through from the crown through the back of the heel. Take one more inhale here. On the exhale, squeeze the knee towards the nose. Deep inhale to reach back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale to reach back. Exhale, knee to nose and squeeze. Inhale to reach back and lengthen. Exhale to squeeze. Last one, inhale. We're going to extend in here. Again, option is there for you to stay or to bend your knee. Option is in here to keep on pressing your hands on the ground or maybe bringing the opposite hand forward. Again, option to stay or to rotate back and catch the inside of your foot. Take another in. Full breath out. One more just like that. On the exhale, hand comes back to the ground. Squeeze the knee towards the chest. Step forward to your low lunge on your second side. Fingertips on the ground. Take a moment to arrive in this posture. And again, we start to move a little bit with this experiment we have on the first side with the hands on the hips. Keep on pressing your pelvis down. Take one more breath. Full exhale. Whenever you're ready, start extending your front leg as if you were coming to Ardha Hanumanasana. Pressing your heel on the ground, micro bending that knee. Keep on bringing, as you press your heel down, keep on bringing the heel towards you. Start to activate the back of the leg. Take a nice deep breath in here. On the exhale, maybe you fold forward over the leg, maintaining that balance, trying to not hyperextend in here. Keep the leg active. Take one more breath. On the exhale, we come back to center. We rebend that knee. Planting the foot on the ground, and again, we tuck the back toes. Same thing in here. Idea is not to go up, but just to remove the knee, the back knee off the ground. All right, take a nice deep inhale, tucking the toes, straight your back leg on the ground. Long breath out, high runner's lunge. One more inhale here. On the exhale, we can drop the back heel to the ground, opening to warrior two legs with our hands on the hips. Take another breath. Long breath out. One more. On the exhale, we come back to center. We release again. The back heel comes to the ground. So that means the back foot steps a little bit forward. Take a nice deep inhale to open the chest. On the exhale, Parsvottanasana, we hinge forward and fold. And again, same idea in this pose. Keeping that micro bend of the knee, drawing the foot back so the back of the thigh activates and the hamstrings start to work. Take another breath. Long exhale. Inhale to come back to center. Micro bending that front knee, bringing the heel off the ground, stepping forward into your floating position with your right leg forward. Take a nice deep breath in as you adjust your hips. On the exhale, bringing the left hand to support your knee, extending the other arm if it's accessible towards the back of the room. Take another breath. And a long breath out. Last one, inhale. On the exhale, we come back to center, catch those hips. Big step back to high runner's lunge in here. Take a nice deep inhale here as you start dropping the knee to the ground, keeping the hips low. Take a nice deep inhale. Maybe you rotate a little bit more and open the chest. On the exhale, we fold, planting those hands on the ground, stepping back to our tabletop. Couple of rounds, opening the chest to drop the belly. On the exhale, we round the spine in a cat pose. Keep inhale to drop the belly, coming to cat cow. On the exhale, come into cat pose. Inhale to come back to center, extending your arms, bringing your forehead to the ground, coming back to your Anahatasana. And in here in this pose, we can explore a little bit. If you have your boots or your blocks that are even, I think we've done this before. Trying to keep the hip above the knee, pressing the hands on the blocks or on books will help deepen the stretch on the shoulders if that is what you're looking for today. Your hands can still press on the ground, perfectly okay. But if you're looking for a little bit of something more intense, this is a great option. Take a couple of breaths. Whenever you're ready, press your hands on the ground, coming back to your tabletop. On your next inhale, reaching your right hand towards the sky. On the exhale, we thread the needle towards the left-hand side, dropping the shoulder to the ground and walking the left hand forward. Option in here is to stay or to travel your left hand towards the back of, towards your lower back. Take a nice deep breath in. And a full breath out to let it go. Let's do two more. Whenever you're ready, start coming back to center, pressing your hand on the ground, coming back to your tabletop. As you come back to your tabletop, dropping the belly, coming to a cow pose. On the exhale, bend your elbows, chin and chest to the ground, Ashtanga Namaskar. Pressing into your hands, come back to your tabletop, tuck the tailbone, coming to your cat. On the exhale, draw your hips towards your heels, child's pose. Let's do that again, raising back up into your table. Drop the belly, open the chest, coming to cow pose. On the exhale, bend your elbows, knees, chest and chin to the floor, Ashtanga Namaskar. Pressing to the ground, coming back to neutral, switching right away into your cat pose. On the exhale, draw the hips towards your heels. On your next inhale, rise back up again, tilt. On the exhale, bend your elbows, chin and chest to the ground. Pressing into those hands, raise back up, round your spine. On the exhale, draw your hips towards your heels. Take another breath. Full breath out in here. Walking your hands towards your right hand side, moving your torso towards your right thigh. If you want to keep your shoulders active in this one, press your fingertips on the ground. Lifting your palms away from the ground. Take two deep breaths. Whenever you're ready, start coming back to center and we switch sides. We walk the hands towards the left-hand side this time. We rest the chest on the thigh. Take a nice big inhale and a full breath out. One more. On the exhale, we come back to center, plant those hands on the ground, rise back up into your tabletop. And as you come back to your tabletop, we go right away second side, bringing the left hand towards the sky. On the exhale, we thread the needle to the second side. We drop the shoulder on the ground and we walk our hands forward. Take a nice deep inhale. Full breath out. Bringing that hand around, pressing your hand maybe on your lower back if that's accessible. Just to open the chest a little bit more. Take a couple more breaths in this pose. Whenever you are ready, coming back to center, pressing into your hands, coming back to your tabletop. And this time we're gonna swing the legs towards one side, dropping the hips to the mat, extending the legs forward. And we're gonna switch into our yin practice mode in this one. So we're gonna extend the legs to the sides. First pose for this switch, coming to Upavista Konasana. So your legs are wide apart. We don't want them too wide. We just want them a nice distance from the center. Just try not to hyperextend. If you're hypermobile like me, just try to keep a nice micro bend into your front, into your knee. And this will help as well, that same exercise we were doing at the beginning of strengthening the hamstring before we overstretch our hamstring. We don't want hamstring tears. It's really common in the yoga practice to have those. So keeping the hamstrings nice and tight will help a little bit with those type of injuries. All right, so we switch our chest towards the right leg. And as I said, you can gather your props, pillows or blankets or blocks, and to put them on top of your leg so the torso can rest on top of your thigh. So that might look like just one blanket, or just a blanket plus a pillow, or 2 or 3 pillows, whatever that feels, that is nice to be in for a couple of breaths, because we're gonna stay here for a couple of breaths while we try to switch the mind and to switch the nervous system into that relaxation mode rather than the fight or flight mode that we are all day long. So letting your torso rest on top of your props, allowing your chest to open as you keep. I just start resting your torso on your props on top of your legs. Maybe you allow a little bit of a roundness of the upper back. And even in here, if you have a block or something that can support your head, bring the forehead down, just on something that's stable. It will be a great addition to your practice. We take a couple of breaths in here. We connect again. Switch into our yin type of energy here. This is where we allow the breath to extend, to be soft and deep. Let's take 3 more breaths in here. Whenever you feel ready, with your head down, even with your eyes closed, we start to switch towards the second side, removing props from top of one leg, switching them to the other side. And this side might be a little bit different. Maybe you need more or less props than you had. As you start reclining your torso on top of your prop, and again, allowing your spine or your upper back to round a little bit here, even into the post. And as the time passes in this pose, maybe you start noticing how your muscles start relaxing in some parts of your body that were not able to let go before. Maybe as you notice that shift, you start noticing you need less props because maybe gravity that has done its work and it's allowed your muscles to open slightly, a little bit more. Let's take 5 more breaths in this one. Feeling that stretch from your lower back to the back of your left heel. One more breath, inhale. Full breath out to side out. And your next inhale, we start coming back to center, coming back to center as we go into the center of the legs in here. So for this one, you are welcome to use a little something a little bit taller, such as a bolster if you have, or as I'm doing in here, placing a block underneath my prop. So my torso is nice and supported in here. So it might take for you to have more or less props. It doesn't really matter if you need a bunch of props to be comfortable. The only thing that matters is that you are really comfortable, so you allow a little bit of space for your body to rest and to switch into that parasympathetic nervous system that we want to start opening. Let's take 5 big breaths in here. And to allow your breath to nourish your lungs notice on your body which are the muscles that are constantly refusing to let go. I remind you that the yoga practice, more than a physical practice, it is also a practice of going in and noticing things and behaviors of the body, of the mind that we can catch. One more deep breath in. Full breath out to let it go. Start coming back to center. Removing your props from your mat. Start bringing your legs back together. Maybe even squeezing the knees in as you allow your body to recline back. But as you allow your body to recline back, we're going to use a nice chest opener before we end the practice. So if you have a bolster or a pillow that is long like me, you can place that bolster along the parallel to the short edge of the mat. And the idea in here is that we rest the shoulder blades, the top of the lower part of the shoulder blades rest on top of your pillow as you start reclining back. This might require for your head not to collapse in here, a block underneath your head to have your head nice and supported instead of just collapsing with the neck. If this is available to you at home, great. Just take a moment to observe how my arms are going on top of my bolster so I can extend and open my chest in here. If you don't have a bolster, but you have blocks or books with you, or even a rolled up blanket, like just forming the same shape would work as well. But if you have books or blocks, I just want to demonstrate in here how you can choose between the larger size of your block or the thinner size of your block to press on your upper back in here. So the idea, it's a little bit different than the one from the bolster, but the idea where if you're using blocks is to keep the shoulder blades hugging the block or your book, and same idea with the head resting on top of a pillow or a block, just so the neck is not collapsing. And in here, for your leg variations, you can keep your legs extended as you are. You can bring your feet to rest on the mat if that is something you prefer, or even you can bring your feet wider as much distance apart, allowing your knees to go to center, to rest towards each other. So pick your variation of this pose. Take a moment to open the chest, to feel here as it's coming into your lungs. I'm going to take 3 to 5 more breaths in here. Whenever you're ready, of course, you're welcome to stay if you're feeling comfortable in this position. Pressing your forearms or your hands on the ground or on the bolster, releasing your prop from underneath you, allowing your spine to come back to your mat, flat on the mat. Bending your knees, planting the feet on the ground if they are not already there, extending your arms towards your side and allowing your knees to fall towards one side or the other. Just to find a couple of windshield wipers to rinse a little bit the spine and the mobility of the spine. As you start to feel ready, coming back to center, allowing your knees to come into your chest, to give yourself a little squeeze, and to release your legs, to extend on the ground, or option in here is for you to try block supporting the back of your knee or your bolster itself underneath your knee as well. This will help reduce a little bit of the tension on your lower back. If this is something that you would like to explore, you're welcome to take your final pose with this nice supported variation. Allowing your body feel rested on your mat, to feel supported on the ground. त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव वन्दनां मृत्युर्मुक्षीयमामृता ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव वन्दनां मृत्युर्मुक्षीयमामृता ॐ असतो मा सत्कमः सन्तो मा द्वैत्रिर्गमः मृत्युर्मा अमृतं गमः ॐ शान्ति 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 You're feeling happy in your Shavasana, you're welcome to stay as long as you need. You're ready to invite some movement into your body. Let it be just a couple of movements, very, very gently. On your toes, on your hands. Even if you're moving the head side to side, allow it to be very mindful. And you start coming back to your fetal position on your right hand side. Take your time to get there. Take your time to allow into this familiar pose. As you start coming back to your seated position with your eyes closed, bringing your hands at the center of your heart. Taking a moment, connect to your breath, your intention, and your body. Rubbing your palms to generate a little bit of energy, a little bit of healing energy to cover your eyes. As we rub the palms again, start covering that part of the body that needs it the most right now. Thank you so much for joining me today. As always, it's been an honor to be here with you. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your week. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for joining.